Tom! No answer. Tom! Still no answer. Where could that boy be? She wondered aloud. You, Tom! Silence. The woman lowered her glasses to look around the room, then lifted them to peer underneath. She hardly ever looked through them, they were more for show. They were her fancy glasses, and she was very proud of them. She seemed a bit confused at first, then said loudly enough for the room to hear, If I catch you, I'll... She didn't finish her sentence because she was busy looking under the bed with a broom, needing to breathe as she did so. She only found the cat. I can't believe this boy. She walked to the door, looked out to the garden filled with tomato plants and weeds. No sign of Tom. She shouted louder. You, Tom! She heard a noise, turned around, and caught a young boy by his shirt, stopping him from running away. So, you were in the closet. What have you been up to? Nothing. Nothing? Look at your hands. And your mouth. What's that? I don't know, Aunt. It's jam, that's what. I've told you not to touch the jam. Give me that stick. She held the stick up, ready to scold him, but then the boy yelled, Look behind you, Aunt. She turned quickly, and the boy ran away, climbed over the fence, and was gone. Aunt Polly stood there, then started to laugh. That boy! Will I ever learn? He's always tricking me. But he's my sister's son, and I just can't be too hard on him. Every time I think of punishing him, I either feel too guilty or he makes me laugh. I know I should be stricter. They say spare the rod, spoil the child. But it's hard. He's a handful, but he's family. I guess I'll have to make him work tomorrow as punishment. It's hard to make him work on Saturdays, but he needs to learn. Tom skipped school and had a great time. He came back just in time to help Jim, the young helper, with the wood for the next day. While Jim did most of the work, Tom shared his adventures. Tom's brother, Sid, who was quieter and didn't get into trouble, had finished his chores early. During supper, Tom snuck some sugar, and Aunt Polly tried to trick him into admitting he played hooky. She asked if it was hot in school, and if he wanted to go swimming, trying to be sneaky. Tom got nervous but tried to act cool, saying he didn't really want to swim. Aunt Polly checked his shirt to see if it was wet, thinking she was being clever. But Tom said he kept cool by getting water on his head, showing his damp hair. Aunt Polly was annoyed she missed that clue, but then tried another trick, asking about his shirt collar she had sewn. Tom showed his collar was still sewn, making Aunt Polly think she was wrong about him swimming. But Sid noticed the thread color was different from what Aunt Polly used, making Tom angry at Sid for pointing it out. Tom planned to get back at Sid for this. Aunt Polly was both disappointed and relieved. She thought she'd caught Tom, but was also glad he seemed to behave. Tom wasn't the perfect boy in town, and he really didn't like the boy who was considered perfect. In no time at all, Tom forgot his worries, not because they were less serious, but because he was caught up in a new hobby. He had learned a special way to whistle from a friend, a trick that made a sound like a bird's song. He was eager to practice it. As he walked, filled with this new joy, he felt as excited as someone discovering a new planet. It was still early evening when Tom stopped whistling because he saw another boy. This boy looked different, dressed nicely on a regular day, which was surprising in their small town. He wore a neat cap, a stylish jacket, pants, shoes, and even a necktie. Tom felt his own clothes looked worse in comparison. They stared and moved in a circle, keeping eye contact. Then, they started arguing about who could beat up whom. I can beat you up, Tom declared. I'd like to see you try, the boy challenged. Yes, I can. No, you can't. They argued back and forth until Tom asked, What's your name? That's none of your business, the boy replied. Tom threatened to make it his business, and they kept taunting each other, each daring the other to start a fight. They insulted each other's courage and appearance, each claiming they could win a fight easily. As they moved closer, still arguing, Tom told the boy to leave. You leave, the boy retorted. Neither wanted to back down, standing their ground. So, there they were, standing firm and pushing hard against each other, eyes locked in a fierce glare. Despite their efforts, neither boy could gain the upper hand. As they paused, catching their breath, Tom couldn't hold back his frustration. You're just a scaredy cat and a puppy. I'll tell my big brother about you, and he'll beat you up with just his pinky finger. I'll make sure he does it too, Tom declared, puffing up with bravado, even though he didn't really have a big brother. The other boy shot back unfazed. Oh yeah? Well, I don't care about your big brother. I've got a brother who's even bigger, and he could toss yours over that fence easily. He was bluffing too. His big brother was just as imaginary. That's not true, Tom exclaimed. Just because you say it's a lie doesn't make it one, the new boy retorted with a smirk. In a dramatic gesture, Tom drew a line in the dust with his toe and challenged. I dare you to cross this line. I'll beat you up so badly you won't be able to stand. Only a sheep thief would take such a dare. Without a second thought, the new boy stepped over the line, taunting. You said you'd do it, so let's see you try. Don't push me. You're going to regret it, Tom warned, his anger rising. You keep saying you'll do it. So why don't you? The new boy goaded him further. Fed up, Tom blurted out. I swear for just 2 cents I would. The new boy, with a sneer, pulled out 2 copper coins and held them out mockingly. That was the last straw for Tom, who knocked the coins away. In an instant, they were on the ground, wrestling and tumbling in the dust, grabbing at each other like wild animals. They pulled hair, scratched faces, and landed punches, completely engulfed in the heat of battle. Suddenly, the chaos of their scuffle began to clear, and there was Tom, sitting triumphantly on top of the new boy, delivering punch after punch. Between his heavy breaths, Tom demanded, Say enough! The fight had escalated from taunts and dares to a full-blown scuffle, each boy trying to prove his toughness in the most primal way they knew how. The boy was struggling, tears of anger rather than pain streaming down his face. Say enough! Tom kept going until he finally heard the boy weakly utter, Enough! Satisfied, Tom stood up, dusting himself off, and declared, Remember this. Be careful who you mess with next time. The new boy left, wiping the dust from his clothes, crying and muttering threats about what he'd do to Tom if he ever caught him again. Tom just laughed and walked away proudly. But as soon as Tom turned his back, the new boy picked up a stone, threw it, hitting Tom squarely between the shoulders, and then ran away fast. Tom, furious, chased him all the way to his house, learning where his new rival lived. Tom tried to confront him, but the boy only made faces from behind a window, and his mother eventually came out, scolding Tom and telling him to leave. Feeling defiant, Tom swore he'd get back at the boy someday. That night, Tom arrived home late. Trying to sneak in, he found his aunt waiting for him, ready to scold him for the state of his clothes. Seeing how dirty and torn they were, she decided that Tom would not be enjoying his usual Saturday freedom, but would instead be spending the day doing hard chores as punishment.